What is mindset? Our mindset is based on what we believe, and anything we believe in, we put into motion. I have spent my life putting the mindset of perseverance into motion, and now I am here today to share my journey along with others whose mindsets have changed the course of their lives. Hi, I'm Mindset Coach Lorraine Lindsey, and I believe that if you can change your mind, you have the power to change your life. So are you ready? Welcome back. This is season 2 of The Mindsetters. We have shifted, we're changing content, and we're here to bring some of the freshest ideas when it comes to mindset. And this is where we believe that if you can change your mind, you have the power to change your life. Don't forget that we're also on YouTube. So if you like the content, if you like what we're talking about, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, send us your comments, whatever you're thinking and feeling about the stuff that we're talking about. We would love to hear from you. So today, as we start season 2, episode 1, we're tapping into love and respect. Why women need love in order to give men respect, and why men feel like respect is how they ultimately show their love. And the first part of this 2-part series, where I'm bringing on my female counterparts to share on the love. And next week, you don't want to miss when the fellas come to tap in as to why respect is so important. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce my beautiful ladies that are my co-hosts for today. First, we've got my dear friend, Beverly Olvera.
Hello.
Beverly. Beverly has a single mother. She's had her shares of relationships. She's also an executive in the casino business, has been doing the executive thing, throwing it down. Talk about being an alpha female in a male-dominant world. Yes. She definitely kills it, slays it, and doesn't let those fellas define who she is in that business. And you know, I do the same kind of work, so,
yeah,
you know, woman, hear us roar. Yeah. My next guest, and thank you, Bev. I appreciate you being here. Your beautiful
Thanks
presence.
for having me.
Yeah, this is going to be a good show today. And next, I have my beautiful co-host, Miss Carmen Smith. Carmen Smith is a Las Vegas local realtor. So if you are looking to buy or sell your home, or if you have any questions, please contact Carmen. You can reach her at @CarmenSmith_realtor. All right, ladies. Dun, dun, dun. So here we are. I'm so excited to be back. I've missed everyone. I've missed the studio. I've missed Quan, the man, the
We
myth, the
miss
legend.
you, Quan.
And we're here at season 2. I'm super excited. I'm really laser focusing this season on really being specific about mindset about things. And hopefully the content and the things that we share will give people insight on maybe checking in with their own mindset as to why things are adversely affecting their life. And I think that this is the season of love right now, and of respect. And so I wanted actually we have quite a few male counterparts that watch the show, and females or whoever, to really to understand the concept of love and respect, and just from a perspective of, let's say, men and women. And this topic was inspired by a book that I read many years ago when I was married. The name of the book was actually called literally Love and Respect. The author is Dr. Emerson Eggerichs. I hope I'm saying it correctly. Yes. And it's I come from a Christian background, so it is a pastor who wrote the book. And it was at a time when I was married and I was struggling to find a way to make the marriage work. So there's a little quote from the book, and then we're going to go right into our perspective from women. And basically, this kind of summarizes the book. It says, wives or women are made to love, want to love, and expect love. Husbands are made to be respected, want respect, and expect respect. When a husband feels disrespected, it is especially hard to love his wife. And when a wife feels unloved, it is especially hard to respect her husband. And you know, it's so interesting because I feel that that's really true. I feel like when we're really like looking for love and we want love and we're not feeling that from our man or from our significant other, it's hard for us to give the respect, right?
Yes.
And it's almost like it goes yin and yang. And not to say that we don't want to be respected, but when our man is loving on us, we actually feel a level of respect. So what do you all want to kind of chime in on that before we get to the bullet points?
I think you're absolutely right. Like, if you feel like your need of how you need to be loved and how you want to be loved by your spouse or your significant other, it's just so much more easier to respect your husband and give him the wants and needs that he wants. So I agree. I'm ready to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What do
I
you think,
think,
Bev?
well, I think that nowadays it's first of all, you have to find something that's compatible for you. That's the number one, probably like the thing that causes a lot of issues, right, with people. And I think both people want love and respect, but it's just the nowadays they cultures just they want us to think we have to be, in order to be independent, we have to be mean, or we don't need a man, or and that's so wrong. We do
Right.
need a man, we
Right.
do want a man, and
Right.
but in a healthy way, of
Right.
That's a
course.
good point because, like, and especially because we're all alpha type females, we're very
Right.
headstrong, we're at the forefront in our careers and things like that. When we are in relationships with someone, you have that, because it's like these days, it's like it's feminine, masculine energy, right? So that love to me is almost like on the feminine energy side, and the respect is coming from the masculine energy. And sometimes us as women, when we're in a dominant world and we're out there grinding like the men, it's hard for us to kind of soften ourselves and give
Yeah.
the men the respect
Mhm.
that they need.
Well,
Yes.
that comes with trust. Like you have to trust that that man can like take care of you the way you need to, so you can put that wall down.
Yeah,
Which is a great statement. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Bev. You're
absolutely.
gonna
I
say?
think that, and I agree with you 100%, but I think that it all starts within ourselves.
Mhm.
And I think our issues are all within us. So if I need trust, right, it's because what is it about me that
Right.
can't trust him? And that's a whole nother issue, right?
Yeah.
We have to just address what's within us. In order for us to love, we have to know how to love.
Mm.
So
I agree. So what I want to do is I want to talk. I found a couple little bullet points online on that I thought were relevant as to things that are ideas of love for us as women. Like if you're out there and you're watching and you're like, I feel so disrespected. I feel like I'm not getting respect from my person. What is it that's going on with them that they feel to disrespect me? And sometimes there is underlining things that the person's doing that they're not realizing that they're doing, and that's why they're not getting respect. It doesn't give it any
Absolutely.
excuse,
Mhm.
but it explains it a little bit. So the first
Yes.
bullet point is this, of how us women feel. Women love a man that makes them feel safe.
yes, 100%.
So-
I don't want nothing to pop off, and my man cannot protect me in a physical sense. But also feeling safe with my emotions and my feelings. Like I can talk to this person and I feel safe. Like he's not gonna um, make me feel like I'm being a crybaby or I'm nagging. Just
Yes.
that's part of safety for me too.
Yes, it's important to have somebody that's there for you on we all go through things on a day-to-day basis, right? So it's nice to have somebody that you can rely on, that you can count on. And that's, for me personally, that's the most important thing, 100%. That's I can't stress how much I have experienced and dealt with different types of relationships, but feeling that comfort and that trust, that's how you build that trust and that reliability, right? Where he's not perfect, but I know I can count on him.
Yeah.
That's a nice feeling.
I agree. I feel like for me, what's very important in terms of specifically feeling safe with my man is feeling that I have a peace of mind,
Yes.
that I could be me. I could do my thing without there being a threat. I want to feel safe that I can express, like what you said. I want to feel safe that I can share and be honest without feeling attacked, without feeling that I'm not being heard. And I also want to feel safe. As much as I like to hustle and grind and make my own money, I want to feel safe in a man's provision.
You want a
Financially.
partner.
Yeah.
I want
partner.
a partner. And I don't mean that I want to just stay home and do nothing. And to women that want to do that, that's totally fine too. But I need to have that security. There is nothing more frustrating and where you lose respect for a man if you feel like you're doing the job of two people. If all I'm
Yes.
doing is grinding and working hard and you're being lazy and you're not trying and you don't have you're not like, you just take me for granted, I don't feel safe there, and it's hard for me to respect
That is
a
a
man.
big issue.
I'd like
A big
to
issue.
touch on that, the financial part, being safe financially, because I think for me, that's a huge deal. I want somebody that I can depend on financially if I need them. If I want to go and have a good time, I don't have to like worry about if I say I want to go on a trip, I don't want to have to plan for a year. Like that's an important thing for me. So sometimes it could come across as we're being gold diggers or we want, like money's such an issue that you don't care about the nice guy or somebody who can't provide that lifestyle. Is it okay that we can say that we need to be able to define what it is we want in a partner. And until we can define that, we don't even know what our needs and wants are, or how we want to love.
Absolutely.
And if you're not getting that, that's where the lack of respect comes from, right? Because if that's something you want deep down, a man that can financially provide, and you choose a man who can't, you're expecting him to and he's not, and then you lose respect for him.
Absolutely. I think that we're made to want the hierarchy, right? That's how we are literally built. So we naturally want that man, that leader. And that's the confusion, is that a woman wants, a rich guy, or it's not about that. It's about the hierarchy, the man that takes charge, that does. To me, it doesn't matter how much he makes, as long as I have a partner that's willing to do it with me and is motivated. Because if you're motivated and you're that guy, you're going to make money anyway, because you just are motivated, right? So we all have insecurities. We all have things that we go through, but you need for me, it's important to find that partner that's willing to go through life with me through ups and downs. I'm not going to walk away from my man either if he loses his job or something, of course not. But I'm here with him to be a partner.
So the ambition that the man
right.
Yeah. So safety then would be what? Safety for me is like the physical, like I want to feel that I could be protected. A woman loves to feel like her man can protect her.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like in a situation where I'm the one getting up.
I'm like, I
go check who's at the door. He's like, go check, babe. Go.
Yeah.
Baby, you first.
I don't want to be that woman, And chivalry is not dead.
Yeah. You can go ahead and open my door.
I also want to feel safe knowing that just as much as I'll have his back, I need to know that he'll have mine in all aspects, right? Yes. I want to feel safe that I can trust him. I want to feel safe that if he goes out there into the world and he has his temptations, that I can feel safe that he's going to make the right decisions. And I think when you start to lose that innate thing that a woman has, that it's innate, right? I know we're all there's more equality, or we're trying to get to these equilibriums with people, but the reality is there's certain things that are innate. And I think safety, feeling just abundantly safe with your person, it makes you just organically, when you feel that kind of safety, you feel loved. And when you feel that level of love, it just naturally makes you respect your person in that facet.
And I think that happens initially when you are dating somebody. That's why it's important to get to know them and date them and not just jump, right? And everything comes with time and just paying attention. If you see those signs, it's like, well, maybe he's not going to do that. No, he will. Just, pay attention and don't assume or it's just, we kind of know, right? When we're dating a guy, we see signs. It's just a matter of our decisions and our choices that we make, because we ultimately make our lives out to be what they are. We have the full control, and all the chaos comes from our own decisions.
That's true.
Oh, 100%.
That's true.
All right, so let's go on to the next bullet point. Women love honesty and trust. Okay, so to me, when we talk about love and respect and the mindset of love and respect, trust is, to me, one of the biggest factors. I find that a lot of people who have breakdowns in their relationship is when there's a breakdown in trust and also communication.
Yes.
But when you feel like your trust has been violated, it is very hard to respect your partner.
Absolutely.
Because it switches you onto how you look and see and perceive them.
Yes.
And it gets to a point where you're like, you like, okay, for example, when I was married, my ex-husband, there was an infidelity. It took me, actually, I don't think I ever got over it, to be honest with you. I could not let it go. I just could not surrender the fact that he had violated our trust.
Right.
And it made me see him different. It made me judge him different. I was less patient with him. I was less kind. I was less angry. I had no respect for him.
Yeah.
So no matter what he would do to try to fix it and remedy it, and I'm going to be better, and I promise, and all of those things, it was very, very difficult for me to ever respect him, because I felt that he had utterly disrespected me.
He
It was
broke
the
the
ultimate
bond, the
violation
promise.
of love.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that when you build this like connection with somebody and you have a promise like this, it's a very, very important thing, right? I don't think most people nowadays, unfortunately, don't take that as serious. It takes work, a lot of effort. That's the whole reason why it's so special. It's not easy. So I think for me, from because I've dealt with that in the past too. It's easy. It's hard not to take it personal, where you feel like it's something was wrong with you or
Right.
what's wrong with me, and it takes a toll on a woman
Or
emotionally.
anybody, right, with
Yes.
infidelity. But I think, again, with mindset, and let's say that people who are watching are dealing with this. They're saying, it's hard for me to respect my man or my person because there was a breakdown in trust. And it may not necessarily mean infidelity.
No.
I had trust issues in my previous relationship, and it had nothing to do with infidelity. It was trust in other things. And because I had a lack of trust there, it was hard for me to be respectful to him at times. And even to the point in true candor that I was emasculating at points, right? Where I really emasculated him.
I had, trust issues financially. It's so weird how like the things you go through are the things like, okay, this is not going to be an issue anymore. Finances are not going to be an issue anymore in my relationships. I didn't have too much of I didn't have any infidelity in my marriage, any of that. So, I think that as we get older, especially, like clearly defining what those boundaries are for you is so important. And I think that if people start there, and when you start dating, like you can't change somebody to be who you want them to be.
Can't raise a man.
So we have to be, learn to say, this just isn't going to work for me. It doesn't make a person bad. You're just not compatible. You're not aligned with each other.
Exactly.
And trust is huge in every aspect. Like we've talked about emotions, financial. Can I trust you to make the right decisions, to not be disrespectful to our home?
Yeah, it's hard.
It is.
Relationships are hard.
It is.
But I think that's the whole thing. It's like, if we understand, like if, for example, if someone were watching, they're saying, I don't feel respected by my partner, and there was a breakdown in either trust. And again, it doesn't necessarily mean infidelity, but and that's the thing. It's like some people don't understand the breakdown in trust if it's not cheating,
Right.
because they'll look at it like, well,
that's why I brought up financial.
I've never cheated on my person. I'm so faithful. I'm so loyal. I just love this person. Don't they see that I put them on a pedestal? But it's like, that's great. However, your trust and honesty is, aside from the monogamy, it's sometimes seen in other things. And I think sometimes people don't realize that if I can't trust you financially, if I can't trust you in my safety, if I can't trust you to be there when I need you to be there, if I can't trust you to hear me, those are breakdowns in trust.
Absolutely.
A relationship I was in, everybody, I lost my dad. So I had a situation where I came to him and I was venting about it, and I was really emotional, and I was kind of crying, and he was like, "You already cried about that."
Wow.
Yeah.
And I was like,
so he has an issue even being
empathy.
intimate with you mentally and connecting.
It immediately put up this wall. And I was like, I can't even, I'm choosing to share my life, even a piece of my life with somebody like that.
That's the most important part, I feel.
So that was like a total trust. So it's not always infidelity, but it was just like, if I can't be vulnerable with this person,
trust you with my emotions.
Yeah, like
about your friend,
I don't need to be with you.
You're spending time with this person intimately, sharing your body,
my time,
everything,
I can never get
and you
back.
can't even talk about something that deeply hurts.
But again, and this is where sometimes people are feeling either a lack of love or a lack of respect, and they're not connecting the dots as to why. Because a lot of times we often look at it like it's black and white, right? Love is love.
That guy lacked other things.
Respect is respect.
Many others.
But it shows up packaged differently, in different things.
Yes.
And I think this is where I'm really wanting to emphasize mindset.
Right.
It's like, if you're starting to feel disrespected in your relationship, instead of looking at all the ways and keeping track of what they've done to disrespect you, take a seat back and ask yourself, what is the trigger here? What am I doing? Because if it's a respect thing, if I'm not feeling respected, the question you can ask yourself if you're in a relationship with someone is, I don't like what they've done. However, what is the love that they're lacking that's making them disrespect me? And vice versa. If I'm feeling a lack of love, what is the respect that I'm not giving to my person?
Right.
That, because we're so quick to look at the other person, like with the expectation that you need to do this. And sometimes what they're doing, they're not aware of. So I want to go on to the next bullet point real quick. Women love a man that can carry himself well. Oh my gosh. I don't know why this one for me.
Because it says a lot about character. It says a lot about self-respect and character. The way a man carries himself, the way he dresses, the way that self-love will show you a lot of how he's going to treat you as well. Because a man that doesn't love himself and take care of himself will not
Love and take care of you.
more than likely take care of you, right?
And on the superficial side of that, like, we all want a trophy too. Like, guys always want their woman to look beautiful, you know, and it's like when you have a nice looking man on your side, it's like, look at me, I got to look at him, you know, like.
Yes.
So, I mean, you know, I'm being
just caring about yourself. I mean, you don't have to be like a, you know, Brad Pitt. I mean, it would be nice.
But when they have that confidence, like, they hit hit the nails on the head, you know, I could trust this man, he takes care of me. Like, it makes you feel proud.
Absolutely.
To show him off.
And to your point, Bev, about the character, the way a man carries himself, I'll give an example of my son when he was playing sports when he was younger. And he would go, to practice, and he would always show up at practice. But I would tell him the only way you're going to become a stronger athlete is when you practice when no one's watching, right? Because that's your heart and soul.
Yes.
And I say that to say when it comes to the way a man carries himself, independent of even being with me.
Yes.
So when he separates himself from me, who is he? How does he carry himself? Who is that man in that room?
And that's more than just looks, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Is he the man that has a reputation of being a womanizer? If he's walking by my side every time we walk by a beautiful woman, he has to break his neck. I get you're going to look at the beautiful woman. I'm going to look at her too.
But don't break your neck.
Are you breaking your neck? Are you carrying yourself as a man? Or do you feel like you got to party and act like a fool in public?
Break his neck, Lorraine. Break it.
I will snap it. Yeah, like the Exorcist.
Like, I'll break your neck. You want a neck breakage.
But, carrying, like you said, it goes down to the way you carry yourself is more to do about you than the person you're with.
Yes.
And that's why I think this one's a big one for me. Yeah. And when I see a man standing in his own foundation at, being who he is.
Yes.
And he carries himself with pride and integrity.
Yeah.
To me, that's so sexy. You get all the respect in the world from me with that.
Right.
For me, and like that in particular, it matters to me because, and I said that recently, I said this to somebody else, because we deal with that a lot, right? Guys check us out when they're with their girlfriends, their wives. And personally, I'm like, wow, I can't believe he just did that. Like, what a jerk, right? So for me, I know what that is because we deal with it a lot. So I want to be with somebody where I can hold my head up high when I walk in a room and not have to worry that my girlfriends are going to think like, wow, Bev's man's over here checking me out.
Right.
Because it's about respect. And again, we're old fashioned a little bit. I think in our cultures, we're different. Everybody's different. It depends on how you're raised. I have a very old fashioned Mexican father. I love him now. But as a kid, I mean, he drove me nuts. That's another story for another day. But I'm used to that. I'm used to that old fashioned, just, way. So that's just me. And I'm Hispanic. So it just depends. There's some women that don't care. But I feel like ultimately everybody has their own way of wanting that respect and love in their own type of way, right? So some women may not mind so much. They laugh.
And some men, or go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to sum it up. Go ahead.
No, but some men, for example, and I'm going to go back to the love and respect thing, they won't understand listen, women are prideful, like you said, just as much as men are prideful. And when you're out and not that it should matter, but it matters, right? I mean, let's just call it what it is, call a thing a thing. But if I have a man who's lazy, who's sloppy, who's at home doing nothing, who doesn't take charge or doesn't have any drive or the list goes on. I don't even want to talk about him or bring him around people, or even if I'm at home with him because I don't want to be alone, I'm settling or whatever the case may be. There is something about a man and the way
I'm assuming that guy looks like Brad Pitt. That's the only reason he'd be in your house to begin with.
But even then,
I was say something real inappropriate.
But even
totally.
Then, what are you gonna say?
He's got that demon.
Yeah, I know. You know what? That's just not enough anymore. I'm sorry, but that's not enough.
That's the only reason why you're gonna have him at the house not doing nothing.
Yeah, he can't be on the couch. He's got to go.
Sorry.
That might be true, but
yeah,
it's never been that good for me.
Yeah, I'm grown. It's not.
I'm being
nothing's
silly.
that good.
I'm being silly.
That's funny though. Okay, next point.
I'm sure it's somebody who can relate.
Women want to feel important to you.
Yes.
Okay, so this is this is probably the biggest rule of thumb I have, and this makes me an incredibly difficult woman to date. because
Ditto.
I have to be number one. Period. Point blank. I just I'm very, very stubborn about it. I'm very egotistical about it. I have to feel like I am always the priority.
Yeah.
Period. Point blank. Like over everything. And I say that with reason. I'm
Very
a
humble.
rational woman. I'm not unreasonable, and I'm also not needy and clingy. So I don't need you to make me a priority for me to fulfill my insecurities.
Yeah.
I just need to know that I respect you. Right, here we go, love and respect. I respect you as a man. I respect whatever your business is. I respect the fact that you have children. Your children are important.
Mm-hmm.
I respect all those things. And you have to be a man for all of those things. And I respect that. But I need to know that the way you're going to show me the love is by making me feel very, very important to you, which means that I am a priority. And there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I am unwavering in that. And I say, again, I say reasonably.
Yes.
Because there are some women like, I need to be made a priority. I need you to make me feel important. But
Right.
but her way of defining it is that she needs the man up under her, dropping everything.
Choosing
Don't hang
me
out
over my kid.
over
No.
my kids.
Yeah.
Over my, ladies, if you have a man who has a child,
Thank you.
respect the fact that he needs to be a father to his child. Give him that space.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't be insecure because he has a
Yes.
baby mama. Let the
Yeah.
man be a man.
Absolutely.
You know, that's a big thing. Even
Well,
my ex, he had a daughter. When we first started dating, his daughter was younger. And that was important to me. Like, I wanted my time with him, of course. But it was important to me that he had uninterrupted time with his daughter.
Absolutely.
I didn't need to be there every
Right.
single time he hung out with his daughter.
Any
It
man
felt
that does
important.
not take care of his family, I automatically
Yeah.
know he's
Yeah.
not going to be good for me. I don't want it because it says a lot. And when you speak badly of your baby mamas,
Yeah.
bad.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah, yeah,
You have to have
That
respect.
right there is
That's
a
whole
man that
nother-
lacks
that's a whole
lacks
nother
respect. I don't
topic.
care what she did. That you don't speak negatively
Especially
about
for
your
your
other.
children.
No.
Yes.
We
My-
could literally do a
Yeah,
whole show
my
on that.
kid's father, he's non-negotiable in my relationships. Non-negotiable. We're friends.
Yes.
We love each other. We take care of our kids. He's non-negotiable. So I expect the same from a man who has kids with a woman.
Mhm.
She's non-negotiable. She's going to be there. So respectfully.
Respectfully, of course.
respectfully.
And there's boundaries, and you have to know,
Yeah.
each individual person has to know the boundaries. But again, I want to reiterate that
Yeah.
I feel it's very important that if someone is taking me serious and we're in a serious relationship, like I'm not talking about we're just getting to know each other,
Mhm.
but when we're making this a thing for real, I have to be.
A
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I have to be made a priority. It makes me feel it's important for me to feel important.
How do you feel important?
I like to feel that I'm seen and heard, and I don't think, and I feel like someone should. There's certain things that shouldn't come before me. There are certain things that shouldn't be. Let me try to think of a really good example.
Like making plans on the weekends where you don't feel like he didn't even ask you. He's just doing his own thing, and you're like,
Yeah,
yeah, I wanted
something
to go
like
to that
that.
game.
Although I'm really bad at that. So I'll be honest. I have a double standard.
The truth comes out, people.
Listen, mindset is about being honest,
Yes.
right?
New book
So
coming out, Lorraine.
in order for us to grow, we have to see who we are, and selfishly, and I'm learning this is actually where I've had to switch my mindset. Is that as much as I want to be made a priority and felt important, that I'm learning now that that's also important for my partner. Because I wasn't always that way. I would be like, I need to be important, and I need to be made a priority, but I'll get back to you.
Give back what
And
you
that was
want.
very selfish of me, you know.
You have to give what you want
That's growth.
in relationships.
That's growth.
So if you want love and respect, you have to give love and respect. I have a friend that recently, she's been, she comes to me, she vents about, her baby's father, and every time I talk to her, she's venting, and I'm just like, I know he's a, douche half the time, but are you like encouraging him? Are you telling him that you're proud of him? Are you telling him that, hey, how was your day? Like, you got to also try.
Yeah.
Men are also sensitive. They also have feelings. They also have stresses. Make him feel like maybe he needs that. And he'll start showing you that type of respect and love that you want. Because when a man doesn't feel that, that's when the sex goes down.
That and everything
So,
else. I mean, not even just, yes.
It's very
Because
mental with
women
them.
think that men never shut off the sex, right?
They do.
But I think when they get really emotionally connected to a woman,
Yes.
and there starts to be a breakdown, then he can lose his desire.
Absolutely.
I want to
For
bring
her.
this up next time because I think that men actually are extremely sensitive,
Yes.
especially when it comes to a woman they care about. And like We're so easy to say, this is what I want. I need this. I need to be the priority. But they're not going to say
No,
that.
they hold it in,
They hold
which is
it
worse.
in.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So it's like, I think for us, I love that you said women like give men, because sometimes we can come across as clingy, or we want to be
I
the
tend
priority.
to be clingy.
Yeah, I'm a little clingy
In
too.
a healthy way.
And you know what? I had to accept that about myself. I just like spending
Right.
time with my man, and that's just who I am. And
Yeah.
if they don't like spending time with me, then I
Then
need
you gotta
a new
go.
man.
Doesn't matter how the D
Yeah.
is.
Well, I think there's a balance too, because I'm the opposite, right? I'm so like more on the masculine energy when it comes to relationships. You know, my girlfriend's always joking, say I'm like the guy girl, because I have a more of
Analytical mind.
more of an analytical mind, and I'm not as emotional, so I'm not clingy.
But
at
you
all.
are. You just hold it in a little bit.
Yeah, but yes, I do, and and I compartmentalize quite a bit. And again, this is not like some healthy way of handling relationships, but I tend to be the non-affectionate, non-emotional person, and so I attract more emotional people in my life, and the people that need more of my time and my attention. And it's not that I wouldn't want my partner to dismiss me because I'm not giving him all my time, because you know my time is finite, right? Which means that my time with my friends, my son, my family, my man, it's all finite, but there's only one of me to give of my finite time, and it can't always be him. And if he feels that I'm not giving him enough time, then sometimes it's just a selfish thing. And I don't want to necessarily have him dismiss me, because
It's
if
so
I'm not,
difficult, because I totally get you, Lorraine, because I'm a big part of me is just like her, and it's the part of me that struggles in relationships. Like in a relationship, I tend to just I can't stand myself. I feel like I start to lose control of my emotion, and it's hard for me to not be like the more dominant. You know, we're used to being dominant in our daily lives, work and everything, and then we have to balance that out with softening up. And in a relationship, it's like I don't want to be dominant, but then I start being, you know, wanting control, and that's not healthy.
right?
And so
But that need for control, which would be, again, we're coming up with topics as we're speaking. That need for control is certainly just from hurt and pain, right? You're protecting something, and so when we become dominant, we try to control things, and then what we do is we end up sabotaging a relationship, and it's really because it's untapped pain.
yes, and the cycle continues.
Right, and it becomes patterns for sure.
Yeah.
Did you want to tap on that last bit, or we go to the next one?
No, we can go to
Let's go to the next bullet point. Women love a man that makes them feel heard. Okay, this is now, here's where, when we talk about love and love and respect, excuse me, when we talk about the disrespect in terms of communication, right? Because we all can be sharp with our tongues.
Oh, yes.
Right? Women, men, whomever. When two people have come together and have fallen in love, at some point, everything that you loved about the person is the very thing you can't stand for some reason. You're not as willing to do what you would do in the beginning. That, you know, I think Tony Robbins talks about this. He's like, in the beginning, your partner says, the woman says to the guy, as an example, baby, will you take out the trash? And he's like, I'll take out the trash. And he's like super excited. And then like 7 weeks, 7 months, 7 years later, she's like, baby, can you take out the trash? Why don't you take out the freaking trash? What am I, your janitor? You know, so he makes this funny example. And so,
but that's good.
But it's true. And so it's like, where was the breakdown when me doing for you? What was the bullet point? If you could put it back up, because I'm like literally losing my train of thought here. Women love men that make them feel heard, right? So I was kind of went off on a left field, but the communication, that's my point. The breaking down communication. And so,
like, tell your mom to stop calling every day.
Is like nags, like, you keep nagging me. God, she never stops. She talks to me. She talks down to me.
She's that's making bad. Me that's feel, a bad one, by the way. The talking down to your other half. So that's both the sides. Disrespect.
But what gets that person to that point that they're talking down, right? So this is a really good one when we talk about love and respect. So what does it mean to you ladies when it says, I need to be heard?
This one's probably my favorite one, because I think I communicate pretty well. I think I have learned not to react in emotion, or I've tried not to react in emotion. So it's really like, if I'm talking to my partner and I say, this bothers me, and he does something to change it, like, that makes me feel really special. And it could be the smallest thing or the biggest thing. And that's why I'm constantly going back to, can we identify within ourselves what those things mean to us and what we want?
Yeah,
in a
your tone
partner.
of voice, the way you come
Right.
across.
When I was married, I had a problem of doing that, nagging. And it's like Charlie Brown, you know, the teacher.
Yeah.
He didn't
We
hear
all
me. He
do it,
never
yeah.
heard me. And my approach with him was not right.
Right.
And I was trying to be a mother dominant, you know, like instead of talking to my
slow
partner.
down, right?
So for a man to take what I say and actually change it, and it might not be right away, you might have to give him a few times to get it right.
But
and
he's
he gets
trying.
it right.
Right.
I mean, that makes me feel special.
Well, it's validation.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
validation.
Yes.
And I think, and I say this all the time because I'm like you, I'm very much a communicator. The
No.
man in my life is never right.
You don't say.
I mean, right? So weird, right? Podcast, talking all the time, on and off camera.
I
But
know, right?
it's very important for me. And I used to get this all the time. Like I would say, I'm not trying to be right. I'm sharing and I'm telling you not to be right. I'm telling you this because I need to be heard.
Yes.
You know, because I would have like a biggest issue that I would have in my past relationship is, let's say he would ask me a question like, I don't understand why you did XYZ or why you tripped out about this. And I would say, well, here's why. And I would start to break down the rabbit hole I went down in my own mind as how I got to this point where this was an issue for me. But he forgot that he asked me the question because now he's defending everything that I'm saying. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. You asked me, why did you do this? I'm not explaining it to you as an excuse. I'm explaining so you can understand where my mind goes and how it got there.
Understanding is what you need.
So as I'm explaining this, it's not for you to defend it.
Right.
It's just for you to hear it. If you really want to know me, is to love me.
Yeah.
And I'm not always going to be this angelic person with all the right answers. Sometimes I'm going to overreact. Sometimes I'm going to act crazy. Sometimes I'm gonna
not
have breakdowns,
crazy.
right?
Lorraine.
I know, right? You know what, you guys?
I love you.
Whatever.
I laugh because I'm the same way.
No, but we all are.
Crazy.
And I think I think it also goes both ways, especially when there's a breakdown in communication, even for the other person. When you feel heard, whether it's the man or the woman and the woman, the guy and the guy, the them and the them, whatever it is these days, whenever you feel like you're not heard.
Yes. I think it's understanding, right? Where you need to feel we all need to feel understanding. And also like when you constructive criticism, how we say it, if I pull you to the side and say, hey, Lorraine, how I say something to you, this bothered me that you did this, X, whatever, that is going to ultimately set the tone for the next, what's going to happen next, right? So if a man feels like you're really just communicating something in a nice way, just kind of concerned, then I think that makes a big difference, you know, and just give back what you want, put out what you want in return. And it's, and to answer not defensively, but just what I'm saying to you, there's something there. And I try to do this where I don't want to just think about why did I do that? Well, have an excuse for myself. I just have to understand like why he feels that way and address it.
Right.
And look and just be like, well, maybe I did do this. Maybe I did do that. And, you know, it's just self-evaluation, I guess.
When I got certified as a coach, and I remember when going to the coaching classes and all that stuff, and I thought coaching was going to be me telling somebody, they're going to sit there in my office, and I'm going to talk to them, and I'm going to tell them exactly what's wrong with them, and then I'm going to give them this plan of action, and they're going to go into life, and life's going to be different. And coaching's the complete opposite, right? It's all you're doing is listening and repeating. And I'm like, wow, it's just that simple. I'm literally going to sit in front of someone and they're going to share something with me. And that person came to me because they need to know someone heard them. And all I'm going to do is repeat verbatim what I'm hearing. Because here's the thing, and this is with relationships. When a person says, I'm feeling XYZ, or what you did made me feel this, and that. When you listen and repeat, you'll find often that you're hearing something different than what they're saying. And the person will literally say, but I didn't say that. And if we just get into the practice of taking a pause and saying, this is what you did, not your this, right? Because there's a difference in languaging, which creates defensiveness. Yeah. So if I'm like, you're an asshole, and how could you do this to me? And why would you make me feel this? That's me attacking them. As opposed to what you did made me feel this. And now all the person has to do then is say, what I heard you say was,
Mm-hmm.
when I did this, it made me feel this. Can you tell me more? And it's just, it becomes this thing of now, instead of us disrespecting each other and coming at each other, we're taking a seat back and saying, oh, I didn't realize that's how it made them feel. And if we really care about them, then we tune into hearing. And that's why I think it's so important, man or woman, being heard, why that's so valid.
I think men just want compliance.
Just do as I say.
Yeah.
I want compliance. So I want you to do as I say, not as I do.
Right.
Yeah. And we want both.
Yeah, right.
We want compliance and
I want you to know what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Just get it right.
Just
you didn't know when I yelled at you about the laundry is really because I was pissed off at what happened last week.
You should have knew that.
That other day, last month.
That's another thing too. I think us women have a hard time. Okay, so although we want men to hear us, how often are we actually using our voice to be heard? And so again, we have this expectation that people should just figure us out. And I see that a lot, and I've done it myself, where the person's like racking their brain, like, what the hell did I do?
Yeah.
And it's an unresolved issue. But at the same time too, your partner has to give you the safety to feel that I can tell you this is what I'm hurting about or what's bothering me. Because sometimes they're difficult conversations. Yeah. You have to be able to feel safe to actually have the conversation. And then that person has to be able to say, I don't want to make an excuse for myself, because when we hurt somebody, we want to make excuses for why we hurt them because we actually didn't really want to hurt them.
Yeah, because we're being cowards about it at that point instead of just facing it. Like, I did this and this is why he's upset. Yeah, accepting it and just kind of, you know what I mean? Just, but I think understanding is a big, and paying attention is a huge.
Being understood for sure is my
thing. Pay
thing.
attention.
I hate when people misunderstand. I hate the word hate, but I dislike strongly when I feel misunderstood. Yeah. But again, just because my intentions are good, it doesn't mean that I am acting out the intention of my heart always. Because we have to check in with the recipient, right? Not everybody receives the message the same way. So, okay, let's go to the final bullet point. Okay. Women value maturity. Now, Carmen, I'm going to go to you on this because you just mentioned at one point how you in your marriage you felt like you were being the parent.
Okay, go ahead. I'm just teasing.
She's like, where's she going with this?
I know. I was like, oh,
she's like, I'm
scared.
She's like, are they ganging up on me?
I can handle that one.
Feeling like, because we did a show last season where we talked about different types of relationship types, right? And one was the parent-child relationship. Ugh. And I've been in those type of relationships too. And again, I think as strong women who, especially if we've had adversity in our childhood and we were led to kind of take charge at an early age, we find ourselves still doing those, like if you had a relationship with your parents, for example, like let's say my mother or whatever, and maybe there were times when my mother was more like the child and I felt like the parent, I tend to carry that into my adult life, choosing men who are more childlike.
I'm the opposite. I tend to go for dominant
men.
Yes.
Well, back to what she was saying. So for me, like we met, I was 18 years old. He was 18 years. So we were kids. And I was, I was the oldest. So I always took care of my brother. And, my mom put a lot of responsibility on me. And it just kind of evolved to that. And then my expectation changed. I wanted him to do more. And so just like looking back now, I could see what happened. But I did talk to him like he was a child. I did treat him as if he was not capable of doing things. Right. And totally different person now he is. And I'm totally different now. But, it's
such a different perspective.
And now, I kind of, after my marriage, went to the extreme opposite of men, as far as like me, very aggressive men, not physically or anything, but just it's weird. Like what that little thing I was lacking is what I wanted more of. And I don't even know if I can explain it thoroughly, but maturity is very important. And I think it has to do with trust and honesty and all the things we've already talked about. I do need a man to be mature in all of those areas.
Yeah. For day-to-day life. It's important.
How he makes me feel when looking at other, like we were talking about looking at other women, like that's so immature for a man to act like he's gawking over a woman.
Yeah.
With
I mean,
me
we all
standing there
noticed
or
it.
not, you know. So there's a lot. Maturity is a lot. But
For me, maturity is I don't want you to leave your mama's house to come to my house so I could be your mama.
Absolutely not.
Like that's to me. Even I have a son, and I have an expectation even for him as a man when he finally decides to settle down and marry. You know, whenever he decides to do that, is that and this is a little biblical, whatever, but it says something, and I'm not quoting it verbatim, but you know, when you became a man, you put down childish things. And it's very important to me that a man shows up as such. I do not want to be in a relationship. It's very hard for me to respect a man who acts like a child.
Right.
And that's in his emotion, excuse me, if he is hysterical or throwing fits all the time or, you know, kicking, storming, tantrum type behavior. It's very childish. You know, we should be able to come to things at like adults. And so it's very, and again, we're going back again. I circle back to the topic today, which is love and respect. I can love a man who I can see as a man, but it's very hard for me to show him respect when he behaves like a child. And it's, and I've even had relationships in the past, like, you know, why are you always treating me like a child? And I'm like, well, if you feel like that's something that's common happening here, then perhaps there's the fact that you're behaving like one. Because as a woman, I actually don't want to mother you. I don't always want to teach my person. I want to be taught sometimes. I don't always want to pick up the pieces. I don't want to always have to pick up after them. I don't always want to have to cook the
Lorraine needs a dominant male.
I need, yeah.
Dun, dun,
Well,
dun.
I yes and no, because I'm too dominant. I just
Dominant
need,
is not a bad thing. I feel like it's like more of a take charge type of guy, more confident, somebody you can look up to.
Level-headedness.
I think as women, we're all self-sufficient, independent women. I think that in the world, we can portray that and be that. And I think that when you have a man, you should be able to be safe enough to not have to be that at home too all the time. Because biblically, the order is the order.
And that's a big, you know, I'm going to touch on that.
I know a lot of people don't. But a man is supposed to lead and be the head. But if I can't trust you to make the right decisions for our family, I can't let that independence go. I can't.
But he also says about women, what he says about how a woman should be is very important. And nowhere there does it say that you should be disrespectful or put down your man, right? So we should always also take into what biblically, what it says about how a woman should be towards her man. And I think we all kind of like choose to just look one way and we forget to look at the other. And it's difficult, but that's why for me, having that structure, those morals and having faith is very, very important because somebody that lacks that, I feel, my opinion, is not on the right path in life. And I'm not saying I'm all super religious. I mean, I don't go to church all the time. Haven't confessed in a long time.
But I think that's the issue in modern day relationships. Like there's a clash because you can't have two alphas in one room. You know what I mean? Like it's okay to be that, I believe, in the world for when we're single.
Yes.
You know, but I think that for women who are so independent and you know, have their own careers, it takes a really strong, special man that can like make you feel safe enough to drop all of that.
And if I may say too, and when it comes to, not to interrupt, but not, you know, I get there's the biblical stance, whatever, but there's hierarchy in everything, right? And for me, it's not necessarily man or woman, right? It's a matter of I'm pretty certain when the men come on the show, they don't want to deal with childish women.
No.
Right? Because when I put down the quote that I said, it's not specific to men. It's also women. It's like when we become adults, we want to be able to handle things. There's times when you want to tap into your inner child, and that's great and be playful and fun and whatever. But in order for there to be love and respect, there has to be an understanding that there has to be a coming together maturity.
Yeah.
I think it's intellect too, right? I mean, being smart, just having a common sense, I feel, is just, for me personally, that's probably one of my number two. He has to be smart. I mean, looks are probably the last thing.
Yeah, for me too.
Because it's just their personality, intelligence, intellect, that will definitely be what ultimately gets my attention. So somebody I
Yeah.
can learn from, somebody that
Oh yeah.
inspires me.
Inspires me, motivates me,
Yeah.
can and has a way to communicate that. Not like
And
in a
and you know, likewise, men want a woman that's smart, but not, you know, trying to take control, just intelligent, go getter, whatever, and
I have a
compliant.
funny story about childish. Do I got time? So I I was on a dating app, right? And I'll make it real short. He hit me up. We had one conversation on the phone. And he's like, "Man, why are you single? You seem perfect." Well, I am. That's why I'm single.
Duh.
No, I haven't found my
My
perfection.
dad tells me all the time.
So he's talking and he's like, well, let's just jump in and be in a relationship. So I'm humoring the
gosh.
conversation. He's like, you sound like everything I want, yada yada yada. So I'm like, okay, let's just say I'm for that. What if I don't want to be intimate with you right away because I don't know you? Well, I feel like I'm giving you my all, so you know we should be intimate. And I'm like,
Wow.
okay. So I'm still
I
entertaining
can't
the
believe there are
conversation.
people like this in this
And
world.
then he says, man, I would just be all up under you, ready to move in and help you
remember
pay your
this.
bills. I said, help me pay my bills? That so the part of sleeping wasn't even bothering me. It was, you want to come in my house that I
Your
just
house.
renovated,
Your house.
made it so girly just for me. There's no room in my closet for you.
He
and
basically
help me
needed a
pay my
home. That's
bills
why he
that
was
I'm
on that
already
app.
paying on my own.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, they're like
immature.
savages. You have to be
That's
careful
totally
out
That's
there.
immature.
It's hard out here in these streets.
I was like, women fall for that.
Yeah.
They do, sadly,
Because-
because they're so insecure and so it's sad.
Yeah.
It's
So
so
I'm
sad.
happy to be an independent, self-sufficient woman, but I do want
Yeah.
somebody who can, I could feel safe
Yes.
enough and be secure with and know that he can hold it down financially, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, lead me in my
Mhm.
faith. all
We
of
can
that.
be that woman and not, you know, I tend to scare men. I'm not sure why.
Because you're sexy, girl. You got
I know.
your
It's like,
package.
just because I'm like, you know, successful, whatever, it doesn't mean that you have to be afraid of me. I'm just a normal girl. I want to just have a friend and, you know, go there. But it's very difficult.
So, okay, as we conclude this, we always do like a little round robin to conclude the love and respect. And I want to tap into the actual mindset behind it. So whoever wants to go first, what would you conclude if for the people that are out there watching, when it comes to love, in order to get respect, what does that look like for you from your perspective, Bev or Carmen?
I didn't think of my final thought, but I guess I would just go back to being able to clearly define what love means to you and what I need. I have to think of myself first. What I need from a partner, what I need from to feel love, and understand that I need to know how to communicate that to my partner because he doesn't come into it knowing it. He might do some things, not all the things, and being able to hear his needs as well of how he needs to feel respect. And if we're in alignment with those things, then we can have a relationship and be okay not to be in one if it doesn't align.
You compromise too,
Yeah.
right? You have to compromise a little bit.
Some
Not
things are
everybody's
not compromisable though.
Yeah, and understanding what is not 100% negotiable,
Yeah.
and just I think being true to myself is a very big thing. And I still, you know, here and there I challenge that. And am I being true to myself? Am I accepting this because of another reason that I'm not, you know, being honest with myself? So being honest with myself and being real with myself, regardless of the outcome, is very important. And then finding that companion that makes me laugh and that I can, you know, just be my best friend first before anything, that
Yeah.
I can get along with,
Yeah.
you know, and be a partner. I want a partner.
Yeah.
I don't want a man to support me. I want a partner
Yeah,
in my
I
life.
love
That's
that.
all.
Yeah, me too.
I will say as we conclude this, and my last little thought here is love and respect. Yeah, we're focusing love from the women and respect on the men, but the reality is that both men and women want and desire that from any and everyone, really, all humans.
Yes.
Whether we're in our work field or in our personal, intimate life, love and respect is important. But if you're in an intimate relationship and there is a breakdown, if you're not feeling love and you want to repair that, you need to check in with yourself of what you've been doing to disrespect them.
Yes.
And vice versa. If you're not feeling respected, you need to check in and say, well, what am I doing that's not being loving? And really be able to go to your partner and say, I'm starting to feel that there's no love here. How do you feel that I've disrespected you?
Or what can I do make it better.
And can we work on this? Because it is a yin and a yang. It really truly works hand in hand. And but often when there is a breakdown, we've played somewhat of a role in that. And if you have a loving partner who respects you, even though you're having moments of lack of love and lack of respect, you can figure it out. Now, if you just have a partner that just doesn't love you, if you have a partner that just doesn't respect you, you need to get clear on that, and you need to remove yourself from it.
Stop complaining about him and move on, and stop, picking these horrible
Don't
guys.
allow yourself to be disrespected when you're pouring love into a person. Because that's when it's time to go. But if you know that you felt that you've had a little setback in your own love, and maybe you haven't been as loving, and now your partner's not respecting you, you can check into that. But if you're pouring yourself into a person that doesn't respect you and doesn't love you, that's a whole different thing.
Or
that's a different topic for a different day.
When a woman's not giving her man sexually, they're not intimate, and then he starts to go outside the box to look for it. I'm not saying it's okay by all means, but what did you think was going to happen after a year you haven't had sex with him?
That's a whole we can literally write that one down, because I don't necessarily think when a woman has decided, or she's physically not attached to her man, not wanting to be intimate, it doesn't give him a rite of passage to go sleep with other people.
It does not.
Because if there's a breakdown in intimacy, there's a breakdown someplace else, especially when it comes to women. Because there's different reasons when we feel sexual, when we feel desirable,
stress,
and all of those things. So we could literally should have a whole show on that. So anyway, ladies, thank you so much. Beverly, thank you for being the guest. I hope you would, I'd love to have you back again. And then, of course, Carmen, my lovely co-host. Thank you again for watching another episode of The Mindsetters. And once again, don't forget to hit the subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Hit the like button, send us your comments, and tune in next week when the fellas hit the studio and talk about disrespect. All right, until next time, ciao.